What's good, y'all? Spicy AF. I'm back with another spicy topic. Hit that thumbs up, like this video. Also, follow me on X. I'm Spicy AF and at Spice Tea Spill on Instagram. Here's my picture. Subscribe and share. Amanda Seales sat down with Shannon Sharpe and got into an edge-of-seat, anxious conversation that turned into a misunderstanding of views on Amanda Seales' treatment of racism that she experienced as a child. I hesitate because perception is reality. One person might feel one way, the other person might disagree. How open are we to have conversations, respectively disagree, hear other people's opinion, perspective, take some and leave some? How mature are we so that we can have educational conversations? Well, in this particular situation, I think it was pretty mature for the most part, but I get a feeling that as much as I adore Amanda, I feel that there is something deeper with her. I feel we hear what she says. She says a lot of times how she feels left out, how she's vilified. I don't really get to see the people vilifying her, but I see her reaction to it. I see her pain from it, and I see her response. But you guys, I want you to be the judge with me. Take a look at just the clips, fair use clips of their interview. It was pretty interesting.
I recently was diagnosed as someone who has autism spectrum disorder, which is very difficult to identify in Black women because of racism.
So what exactly is autism spectrum? Because I hear people say you're on the spectrum.
It used to be called Asperger's.
Okay.
But that is no longer what it's called because to my knowledge, Asperger was a Nazi.
Okay.
But what it simply means is that your brain functions in a different way, so you're neurodivergent, and you also have certain tendencies that are considered outside of what the neurotypical way of things is.
Okay.
And a lot of times that can have you present in a manner that people misrepresent.
Okay. Okay.
Which is the story of my life.
Okay.
Mr. Wright was like, all right, so, we're here to discuss Amanda disrupting the class with her talking. And she was like, no, Amanda doesn't disrupt the class with her talking. She actually helps the other students out. He's like, oh, okay. So is it about her grades? And she's like, actually, no. One of her art pieces is featured in our exhibit at the library. And he's like, so what are we here for? And she's like, well, she corrects me in front of the class. And these three Black people are like, here we go with this racist bull. Because that's really what it is. We're in Florida in the 80s and the 90s. And
But let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think she would have felt equally as offended if a white kid, because I'm assuming this teacher was white, right? Mm-hmm. If a white child would have corrected her, I think most teachers would feel some type of way if a child corrects them.
That's not for me to surmise. I'm just saying that my experience was this lady giving wrong information.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to correct it. Now, in 1989, I went to an audition for Disney.
Okay.
Because they had something called the Sparkling Christmas Spectacular at Disney World in Orlando. And my mom was like, I think you should go and audition. So I went and auditioned. And I made it, which I was not expecting to do. It was like 1,500 kids dancing, and I made it. And I'm like, okay. And even though you're going to probably have an issue with this, they were racist. So when I was at Disney,
yes,
and I was in the situation at Disney, I was there as the only Black girl.
Okay.
And there was a whole crew. It's like 12 of us. And so I was called an N-word right there while I was there. And I was also bullied while I was there because I was told that you're only here because you're Black. You can't really dance. You're just here because you're Black, so don't get any ideas. So that's what I'm being told by the other children. Does that suffice as racist to you, or would you want to call it something else? Is that just kids being mean?
The kids. So let me ask you a question. As a child, you never said anything derogatory? You was just this model citizen as a child?
So if you listen to her experiences, Amanda is telling Shannon that she was singled out as a child and she was called the N-word. She was, if I'm hearing correctly, she was auditioning for Nickelodeon, and there were white kids, plural, and she was the only Black kid, she said. So she was already feeling singled out. She was called the N-word. How does Shannon react to this? Shannon said basically kids will be kids. He asked her questions, but it almost seemed like he had drawn a conclusion anyway. So when you ask a question but you already come across like you already have an opinion about it, how much of the answer do you really want? You're only trying to get people to see your way. And that's how I took it from Shannon. He wasn't even open to feel what Amanda felt. And I feel like in a conversation, you gotta open yourself up to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, especially when we talking about their feelings. If we having a conversation about feelings, I want you to actually feel me on it, you know? So I thought he could have done a better job of trying to feel her out. Put himself in that position. She experienced being marginalized and segregated. Keep in mind, one thing that I always like to learn you is when you are vulnerable. When you learning something new, when you in school, you know, you learning something new, or if you going to an audition, you're already vulnerable. Why? Because you want so bad something. You are there to win. So you're vulnerable for what people say will affect you worse. What people do affects you worse than it would if you was just in a state of comfortability. You're in a place you don't really know, an unknown place. You don't know these people. You're the only one black. For somebody to call you the N-word, I'm telling you right there, that traumatized her. I believe the reason why when she's in a setting, she's such an analytical person. She's such an inquisitive person. She gives a lot of information. She's a very highly intelligent person. But a lot of her defenses are up because of the trauma. When she opened up as a child, look what she got. She talked about how the teacher, when she got in trouble in school, she didn't even do anything. The teacher accused her of being, I think, too inquisitive. That's how I interpret it. She was challenging the teacher, and the teacher ended up finding her at fault for something she didn't even do because they just wanted to get rid of her. Because she was so intelligent, so smart, and so inquisitive, they didn't know how to handle her. She know what she's experienced. She know how that made her feel. She felt this. So who am I to tell her something different when I wasn't there? I wasn't there to see nothing or her reaction or nothing. All I see is the effect it had on her. Sometimes when you sit there and you not just listen, but hear them, you make a difference. So it's good to hear that she felt support. She felt the love. I'm glad for her. I want to see her in the rooms. I need to hear her in the rooms. She's too educated. Her ass need to be on CNN or somewhere on Fox News. She's not just a regular. She's educated. She's very, very educated. And she deserves that space for sure. For sure. Let me know what y'all think. Leave your comments. Hit that thumbs up. Like this video, y'all. Subscribe and stay tuned because we got more to come. Peace.